Han glanced sideways, his thoughtful demeanor intensifying as he pressed for more details about the surprising connection between Hyup and Director Yoon. In the dimly lit space, Hyup stood apart from Director Yoon, his introspective gaze revealing a quiet admission that their lack of shared history left them with no meaningful connection. Han recalls a past scene with Hyup and Director Yoon and states that Hyup's irritation wasn't truly directed at Director Yoon. Hyup, his voice steady as he revealed that while he had long sensed Director Yoon's resentment toward a certain someone, it was only later he discovered the true source had been Han. As Han settled across from Hyup in the quiet room, he mused that the world felt remarkably small, prompting Hyup to admit his surprise at encountering that man while working alongside him. In the dimly lit room, Hyup's serious gaze cut sideways as curiosity edged in Han's voice while he pressed to know why this was being revealed to him. On a dimly lit street where two cars faced each other beneath the glow of streetlights, a reflective mood settled in as memories surfaced of an unexpected entanglement with Director Yoon, all stemming from a fateful incident involving Kim Yonggi and the lingering hope that their paths would never cross again. Hyup reflects on how Director Yoon had pursued Han all the way to the city despite his efforts to escape. Gripping the steering wheel as anxiety prickled his skin, Hyup realized with growing concern that Han's encounters with Director Yoon would last far longer than he had anticipated. Hyup reflected thoughtfully on how the truth of his past relationship with Director Yoon might affect everything if revealed to Han. In the dim glow of uncertainty, Han stood clutching a framed photo, his shock betraying the weight of a confession that trusting him might soon become impossible. Han slowly took a seat beside Hyup in the gentle light, voicing his sudden realization about what Hyup had truly been thinking as the other listened in calm silence. Han silently reasoned that if Hyup had truly operated under Director Yoon's orders using a false name, there would have been no need for such confessions. Shrouded in a swirling dark haze, Han stood alone with a somber gaze, reflecting that since learning the truth about Hyup's past with Director Yoon, fear and heightened sensitivity had begun to cloud his every thought. Han says perhaps he was afraid Hyunkyung and Hyup might still harbor old grudges, leaving him silently ashamed of his own apprehension as a menacing shadow stretched behind him. Han fixed his inquisitive gaze on his companion, his curiosity evident as he questioned whether their working relationship had truly begun by chance. Han's worried expression deepened as he insisted, with a hint of anxiety, that his concerns had nothing to do with Director Yoon. Hyup sat alone on a chair, his gaze lowered as he admitted to himself that he simply wanted to clear his head. In the bright expanse of a modern airport, Hyup stood lost in thought, reflecting on how his journey had brought him down to Busan. Hyup sat pensively with a can in hand, wrestling with his need to earn a living even as a part of him resisted the path ahead. In the heart of a bustling city, Han moved with determined focus, Hyup's curiosity ignited as he watched Han post flyers among the crowd, recalling how seeing this simple act, despite the existence of job search apps, had first piqued his interest. In a dimly lit room, Hyup and Han leaned closer to the glowing screen, the air between them thick with reflection as Hyup admitted he once saw the task as a way to pass time and earn money, prompting Han to ask with quiet curiosity what had changed. In the quiet haze of reflection, Han gazed thoughtfully at Hyup as Hyup recalled how his time spent with the boss had shaped his perspective. Hyup's thoughtful gaze softened into a faint smile as he considered, with growing hope, that continuing on this path might not be such a bad idea after all. On a lazy afternoon, Han lounged back with his hands behind his head, a contemplative mood settling over him as he questioned aloud what made surviving off ramen and minimum wage worthwhile. In a tranquil room bathed in soft light, Han offered a gentle smile as he encouraged his boss to reflect on the reasons behind their current situation. Playful atmosphere lingered as Han, with a mischievous glint, teased Hyup about acting like Director Yoon, prompting Hyup to respond in shocked disbelief. In the quiet light of the room, Han gently rested his hand on Hyup's shoulder, his warm gaze conveying reassurance as he admitted his gratitude for the truth and confessed that he had even braced himself to judge and possibly reject Hyup if the truth had been different. On a quiet afternoon tinged with uncertainty, Hyup reached out to gently clasp another's hand, offering reassurance as he admitted he understood their doubts but wished they would trust in him. In the soft glow of the afternoon, Han and Hyup stood close, hands intertwined, as Hyup admitted wanting to be more honest after witnessing Han's own openness, filling the moment with tender sincerity. On a quiet afternoon tinged with nervous anticipation, Hyup, a young man burdened by self-consciousness, scratched the back of his neck as he hesitantly asked if there were any more questions about him. The quiet glow of his phone screen, Hyup's determined gaze sharpened as a serious message appeared, prompting him to acknowledge that a request had just arrived and he now needed to make contact. Hyup sat tense beside Han, who leaned in with a serious expression to begin discussing Director Yoon. As Hyup's words lingered in the air, Han leaned forward, his eyes thoughtful as he quietly asked about the other man. Han's eyes narrowed in contemplation as a smirk tugged at his lips, his thoughts turning to question whether Director Yoon had always behaved that way back at the facility. In a quiet, contemplative moment, Hyup glanced sideways with a sly smirk, candidly admitting that he had once been something of a jerk. In the muted glow of a small, dimly lit room, Han sat alone atop a floral-covered bed, his heart heavy with unease as he realized that revealing his past had changed nothing, leaving him overwhelmed by a surge of unfamiliar emotion. Han lay on his bed, eyes tracing the ceiling as uncertainty and reflection washed over him, wondering aloud if the feeling stirring inside was relief or satisfaction. Amid a stark, minimalist expanse, a quiet sense of doubt lingered, as the possibility of another path began to surface in the uncertain silence. In the quiet calm of a dimly lit room, Han lay in bed, his gaze meeting the steady presence of someone standing beside him as he was quietly addressed as boss. Hyup offered a calm smile as he informed Han that they would meet the client at 10 a.m. the next day. In the tense stillness of the room, Hyup reached out to gently touch Han's sleeping face, addressing him with quiet authority as the weight of unspoken intentions lingered between them. In a quiet, dimly lit room where soft light filtered through closed curtains and a floral bedspread hinted at warmth, a gentle voice broke the silence to express heartfelt gratitude, setting a calm and reflective tone. A confident woman in sunglasses stood with arms crossed, her curiosity evident as she questioned aloud why the area was so crowded, while a nervous man lingered uneasily behind her. Just then, Han stepped forward with a smug smirk, confronting her about arriving an hour and a half late and remarking that only the hefty cost kept him from saying more, while the woman in sunglasses watched silently from behind. Han greeted his guest with a warm smile, gently offering 2 steaming cups as he remarked on the biting cold outside. As the delicate aroma drifted between them, the woman in sunglasses gestured toward the cup and curiously asked if he had any coffee beans. Han offered a polite apology, explaining to the woman that they were out of coffee beans, prompting her to repeat her request with calm persistence as their drinks exchanged hands in the casual, slightly awkward atmosphere. As the casual tension lingered, she calmly asked if the windows could be opened for fresh air, added a request for the sofa to be wiped, and mentioned that she would appreciate the heating being turned on. In a room charged with determination, Han stood beneath a bold backdrop of the word endurance, his smile unwavering as he clasped his hands and asked if she truly sought evidence to end her marriage. In a sunlit room, a woman with sunglasses lounged with effortless poise, calmly raising her cup as she responded to the mention of divorce with a touch of sarcasm. In a sunlit room heavy with tension, a woman in dark sunglasses fixed her gaze on Han, her voice steady as she insisted that all she required were photos of her husband's affair and details about the other person. In a quiet, tension-filled office, Han stood with calm authority before the reserved woman in sunglasses, his serious tone filling the room as he requested that she speak about her husband. In the soft light of a quiet office, a concerned client sat poised with sunglasses in hand, her voice steady as she explained that her husband would always claim to attend golf meetings, the air tinged with reflective uncertainty. As the conversation shifted, the woman calmly revealed to Hyup that despite the husband's claims, he had in fact never attended a single golf meeting. Late at night in a dimly lit living room, tension crackled between the female client and her partner as she confronted him with suspicion, insisting that his unusual late arrivals every Monday and Friday meant there must be another woman. Then, as suspicion thickened in the air, the female client pointed her finger with unwavering confidence and made it clear that she despised anything complicated. In the muted hush of an office lined with books, Han leaned forward with a grave expression, explaining that they might need to adjust the cost upward. Then, punctuating his authority with a decisive slam of her hand on the desk, she instructed that the task must be carried out for 2 weeks with strict reports every 3 days, insisting that nothing else mattered so long as the job was done properly. The female client threw the blurred stack of crucial documents on the table, signaling the start of a pivotal exchange. As the client file came into focus beneath his steady gaze, Han remarked with intrigue that there was a wealth of information inside and noted she had apparently sought help elsewhere several times before arriving here. Under the harsh glare of an office lamp, tension thickened as the female client anxiously watched Han examine the identification sheet, prompting him to reveal that her husband's name was Choi-ho and causing Hyup to ask with uncertainty if the boss recognized him. In the quiet glow of his phone screen, Han's eyes widened in shock as he realized the name displayed before him.